Aloha and welcome to Exploring Aerial Yoga. My name is Patrick Faris and I am coming to you from my home studio in Kurtistown, Hawaii, where today we are going to be discussing Vajrasana pose in the silks. Now, I know the silks might be controversial for some aerial yoga teachers, aerial teachers, or yoga teachers, but I'd like to remind people that Iyengar was one of the first people to really, in our 20th century, discuss aerial yoga. And he actually did aerial yoga in what he called rope yoga, where he actually took the ropes that we saw as like our wall production, and he threaded those through the ceiling and literally hanged from the ceiling in king pose. So I would like to just say, keep an open mind, always practice within your capacity. If this is not for your practice, don't do it. But if you are curious and you want to, as we say, explore, by all means, this is your body, this is your form. So most importantly, always work within your capacity. Make sure that you feel safe wherever you are. If you need a spot, if you need a crash pad, always good to have. With the silks, contrary to what we normally do in our sling or hammock, you have two separate fabrics here. And these fabrics are really nice just to kind of play with in basic conditioning. You can open up, of course. But Vajrasana, our thunderbolt or diamond pose, the idea is that it is strong and indestructible. When we are on the ground in this form, of course, we are stacked our sit bones over the ankles, which is different than our Virasana, where our sit bones come between the ankles. So if somebody is just new and you're working with somebody, of course, they can always take the ground. And really, the fabrics are there just to help us go down, which is lovely. But going into the flying version of this, let's go ahead and explore. We're going to take one fabric, and if you are on a spinner, you really don't have to cross over. We're on a spinner, which is lovely, so I can just cross the fabrics as they are, and we're open. And you can see that the fabric is crossed down there. Now, this is going to be a very strong pose if you keep the fabrics separated. You can always take one of the fabrics and overlap the fabric so that you create a little bit more of a tighter sensation, which I'm going to do just because I get to talk a lot here. Again, more strength would be do not cross the fabrics. But you can see the fabrics are just crossed once here. I, of course, have this open top and the tails are down below. You can use one foot of your choice and just hold that foot on the ground so that you're nice and rooted down. The other foot is going to come up and the knee is just going to gently rest for set up. As we feel this, you can already see, just because that cross is in the fabric, it's already starting to lock. Whenever pull goes against pull, you get a little bit of that tension there. Of course, it does grab. If I just put full force in here, you can see it will actually separate and get lower. So if you want to go lower, you can. The most important part here is your tails. Making sure that you have those tails nice and tight between your hands. Once you feel a little bit more force, you can go from closed hand just to open hand with those thumbs kind of scissoring the fabric. But you can raise the fabric here, of course, just by pulling the tails a little more. Your knee goes higher, and you're setting up that height. So I'm going to go to the side here so that you can see as I set up. I prefer the tails to be about the height of your head. You can go higher. Lower, of course, the more your elbows are bent in, the more you're going to struggle a little. So about head height is nice here. Holding on to both top and tail together, I can take that lower knee and push it out. I'm going to pull my body up a little, put both knees into the fabric, and you can see I'm starting to hold into the fabric. Really pushing those feet back into a plantar flex is nice, dorsal flex is nice, but your goal is to be around that lower shin into ankle area. You can push the shoulders forward, which of course opens up the clavicle here, gazing forward if not up. I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this towards the camera so that you can see the secondary option to add strength in. We're going to take that knee back up. I'm going to use the opposite leg here. And again, find that nice height for you. Grip strong, pushing that knee out. You're going to bring the other knee up and in. And then from here, you're going to let go of the top, holding only the tail. And you can see by the quiver in my arms, there is a lot of strength here. You can open up entirely. If you're practicing something like crucifix form, this is a beautiful strength builder for crucifix, keeping the body open. Breathe fully. If you want a really good challenge here, hold this, maybe 2 minutes, finding that breath. Of course, you are very close to the ground, but a crash pad is still nice, especially to protect you if you're going to fall. Grabbing that fabric again, when you're ready, coming out one leg at a time. And that is our flying Vajrasana pose. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. Mahalo. Namaste.